This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set and cocked, locked. Here we go. Your dial's set correctly to USAPrepares.com. We broadcast 2 hours from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. And there's a link to all of your instructors on the website, USAPREPARES.com. John is engineering the broadcast in Minnesota at Genesis Communications Network. I'm Vincent Finelli. Captain John Regan is with us. Welcome, Captain John Regan.
Good morning, Vincent.
John, I'm so glad you're here today with me to discuss a most important topic. For the next 2 hours, it's Fukushima 106 and 107 in the series. And we thought it would be maybe Fukushima 101 and that would be it, or maybe 101 and 102. Then it was 103 and 104 and 105. And now it's 106 and 107.
And I still have about 80 links beyond what's posted.
Yeah. I really appreciate your research, and I've gotten a number of compliments on your work. I can't thank you enough. It's a serious topic. We're talking about the pollution of the planet. Dr. Richard Allen Miller said this may be an extinction event. People are asking, where are the fish in the Pacific? People aren't feeling well. I cannot tell you how many telephone calls I get, and no one calls me and says, I feel great. Nobody does that. They're tired. They're worn out. They're lethargic. They're saying, they're even saying that their animals are lethargic. Their dogs and their cats just don't seem to have the energy, the get up and go that they used to have. It's like their get up and go got up and left. I'm not exaggerating. John, for one time, just one time, yesterday I looked up at the sky and I saw the most unusual thing. And the reason I looked up at the sky is I heard the sound of a jet, a large jet flying overhead. You could hear the sound of the engines roaring. There was no chemtrail behind this jet. There was no chemtrail. There was no contrail. It was just the jet. It was even hard to spot because all I could do was hear the sound and not see anything except the speck of what was a jet aircraft. So for once, no chemtrails in the sky from this one particular jet. And of course, this morning they fired right up again and they're spraying chemtrails all over us. We're getting calls from people who are sick. And we believe that our animals are sick. We believe that the trees are dying. And we believe that the hoses are failing. And a lot of this is related to the radiation poisoning of the planet from Fukushima and the nuclear reactors that were put in the wrong spot. Not that we recommend nuclear power generation. I don't recommend it at all. I'm not a supporter of it. I think it's insanity. And so does Dr. Shealy, and so does Dr. Richard Allen Miller. They both believe that too. I believe you and I are on the same page as well, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'm at thefinancialstateoftheunion.com, thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. I've clicked on the news tab, and there is a series of links that you have called, there's the Tale of Two Droughts section, the Fukushima section, Tritium section, from the Vault section, the financial section, the employment section, spy tech and control health, and bigger picture and government smarts. Those are all sections within this tab called the news tab. And there's a new news tab every week that John posts Captain John Regan at thefinancialstateoftheunion.com for our reading pleasure. Well, maybe it's not reading pleasure. it might for those who need a jump start of their hearts, this might do it. John, do you want to introduce anything, or do you want to just go right into it?
Yes, there's a couple of things that's not even in the post that I want to get to. And first off, I took a look at the Baltic Dry Index this morning. Brand new low, 468. It's unbelievable. And also, if you remember yesterday when I started talking about the ancient nuclear war on Mars, yes, and all of a sudden my website became non-responsive. Mm-hmm. Well, I was doing my work last night, and I was actually on the Zero Hedge website, where I pull a lot of my financial and employment news from, and it stopped responding. So I start looking around. I find out my website isn't responding. USA Prepares isn't responding. My email isn't responding. And it was like that for 45 minutes. Just no luck. Now, I checked a few other sites on the web. So if you wanted to go to places like MSN, CNN, Yahoo, no problem whatsoever. Came up, great speed, all that. But if you want to go to any of the places that you might actually find real information, forget about it. And I pulled up the attack map, mm-hmm, and it was going somewhere between 1,500 to just under 2,000 attacks per minute, primarily from China to the United States. And a significant number of those were going to port 123. So I went and looked up what port 123 is about, and that's the port that is used for the internet clock. So if you overload that port where it can't communicate, then the servers start getting out of sync, and nasty things start happening on the internet. So just wanted to update on that. I also wanted to throw in a homework section. I don't want to get in too much of that. I just wanted to throw it out there so we can talk about things next time without having to add a whole lot of context to things. I talked about, I went and looked up, Arthur C. Clarke had 3 laws. The third law, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And then I've got 3 chapters out of the New Testament, Matthew 24, where it talks about signs of the end time, Matthew 25, the parable of the 10 virgins, and 2 Peter 3 on the day of the Lord. And I'll get into those next time. There are 3 articles I just wanted to point out. One, there are now card skimmers found on grocery store payment terminals. They discovered this because the victims had gone through certain aisles in certain Safeway stores. So it's not just gas stations and ATMs. Now you got to watch out for the grocery store, which those things are manned pretty well. So I'm just wondering how the heck they managed to get the skimmers in there. I've also got an article there where Visa's basically saying what I was, forget about Bitcoin. It's all about the blockchain. I always thought Bitcoin was, a false flag, and it's the blockchain where they get to track every transaction that ever happens, not only with money and stock. They can even apply it to your life. And I also have one where I could down the bigger picture, not entitled, where the Supreme Court, and this is not a recent decision, ruled that you have no entitlement to Social Security. And given where things are going with the financial problems, it's conceivable that they could try to, kick the can down the road by cutting or putting off Social Security. But the problem is, for the magnitude they have to do that, I believe that would cause so much unrest that they won't. But I just want to let you know, no matter how you think you've earned it because you paid into it, basically the government can do whatever they want, including not pay you.
John, as you were talking about that, I was reminded of a telephone call I got last night. And it has to do, since we're talking about things that are happening to us that are just out of control, there's a post that relates to this phone call. It says, driver's licenses from these states may not work on domestic flights. This is from CNN Money, or money.cnn.com. And the date of this post is December 29, 2015, just a few days ago. It says, in some states, your driver's license soon might not be good enough to board a flight, even if you're traveling within the United States. And the Department of Homeland Security said that it will be making a decision this week. Now, your driver's license might not be good enough to fly because they want compliance by certain states. And there are 5 non-compliant states. And there's a reason why I'm telling you this story. Illinois, Minnesota, Missouri, New Mexico, and Washington are not compliant. So if I wanted to fly, which I don't, and I don't plan on flying ever again, my driver's license in the state of Missouri might not be good enough because we're not compliant. But we'll talk about that in just a minute, and then we'll get into Fukushima. Captain John Regan's with us. I'm Vin Finelli. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
911, what is your emergency? There's somebody in my house. Hurry, please.
A home break-in happens every 22 seconds. Homes without a security system are up to 3 times more vulnerable to a burglary. That's why there's Simply Safe. In an emergency, our advanced wireless technology alerts police up to 10 times faster, and your connection to emergency services can't be cut because Simply Safe doesn't rely on landlines. Simply Safe costs less than half what traditional companies charge, just $14.99 a month, and there's no commitment to an annual contract. Protect your family with the highest caliber security. Go now to simplysafedefense.com and get 10% off with free shipping and a 3-year warranty. Hurry, and you'll also receive a keychain remote worth $25. Try Simply Safe for a full 60 days. You'll feel confident that your family is safe or your money back. Go to simplysafedefense.com right now. simplysafedefense.com.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
Class Captain John Regan's with us, and very quickly I'd like to mention that your driver's license might not be good enough to board a flight soon. And so it looks like 10 years ago the U.S. government passed what's called the Real ID Act, issuing stricter standards for state-issued IDs, including driver's licenses. Right? And obviously, this is about those bad terrorists that are under every rock and behind every corner, and it makes it harder to obtain a driver's license with counterfeit records. I mean, that's their plan. Okay, well, 5 states are non-compliant: Illinois, Minnesota, Missouri, New Mexico, Washington State. And there are 4 states who have gotten waivers and are pending the review by Department of Homeland Security. That would be Alaska, California, New Jersey, and South Carolina. There are 19 states that have been granted waivers through June 1st of 2016, June 1st of this year. Arizona, Arkansas, Idaho, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, Montana, New Hampshire, New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Texas, and Virginia. And then there are 22 states that do comply with this new law, the Real ID Act, and that is Alabama, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Maryland, Mississippi, Nebraska, Nevada, Ohio, South Dakota, Tennessee, Utah, Vermont, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this is I was asked to speak at a protest this Saturday at 1 o'clock in Springfield at the airport. And there's also a simultaneous protest in Kansas City at the airport. I'm not going to be speaking. And there are many reasons why. One of the reasons is I'm busy. Another reason is I'm concerned about what happens at these events where the feds show up and they surround the protesters. And I'm going to post something about Wounded Knee and how the protesters, how the Indians were executed at Wounded Knee and by the U.S. government. You know, what we do is we end up at public buildings or public facilities, and that's where we have our protests, and that's why the protests don't work. We had a very successful protest in Virginia, and we stopped a dump from coming into our county. And where did we protest? We protested where they were, where the thugs were, where the criminals were, the unconvicted criminals who we voted for to represent our interest, who've forgotten who we were. We stopped by their houses, and we pointed at their front doors. We pointed at them at the churches. We pointed at their children. We pointed at their wives. We pointed at them in the supermarkets. And then we sent them letters that said, you're fired. That did it. That's all it took. So these protests where people go to public properties and demand to be heard, they're just amusing themselves, in my opinion. It doesn't work. Unless you can tell me a couple cases that work, I don't think they work. So I'm not going to be speaking. It's on Friday. I'm sorry, it's on Saturday, this Saturday at 1 o'clock at the airport in Springfield and Kansas City. If you'd like to go, feel free to go, but I will not be there speaking. It's not that I don't approve. It's just I think it's a waste of time. It's a waste of my time, and I just don't have the time to waste. So I wanted to share that. John Regan, Fukushima? Or do you have a comment?
Add one thing to that. It's
Sure.
not just flying. It's entry to federal facilities as well. If a federal facility requires an ID to get in, then if it's not an accepted real ID, you'll need a passport.
Okay. Well, why would I want to go on federal building anyway? What would I need to do that for?
It depends on what business you have.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, meet him in the parking lot. These guys are afraid. I mean, they've done so much damage to us, they're afraid. They want to make sure they know who everyone is. And they should be afraid. They've committed crimes. They should be afraid of us. I'm not advocating any violence. I'm just saying that they've done so many terrible things, including executions. They kill, maim, wound, start wars, tax us into oblivion, regulate us out of business. People are angry.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com. So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in Central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, KD Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KD. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to KDArmor.com. Come and take it.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Captain John Regan's with us, and we're talking about Fukushima, and this is the Fukushima 106, followed next hour by 107. Okay, John, we're ready.
And unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit beyond Fukushima. We'll also be talking a bit about St. Louis as well.
Mm-hmm.
First up, I included the link that you had on your website on the Wigner effect, and
yes.
I did that for a reason, because I'm working on a place where I can put these reports so that they're easily accessible, along with links to the archives, so that people that get in the game late can easily go back and get information.
Mm-hmm.
I also included the radiation this week from Veterans Today. This week there were 31 cities that had 1,000 counts per minute or more. The winner is Colorado Springs, Colorado, at 1,747 counts per minute, nearly 350 times normal. And I was listening to the third hour from Jeff Rentz last night, which is his weekly Fukushima update, and had Yoichi Samatsu on there. He was formerly the editor of the Japan Times Weekly, so he's a established, respectable journalist out of Japan that's doing his best to report what's going on. And he happens to be in the United States right now, and he was flying over the Rockies, and he has a microsievert detector with him. And you want to see a reading of below 0.1 on that. Ideally, you'd like to see 0.00. And flying over the Rockies, he was getting readings of like 3.1, 3.2. Just outrageous amounts of radiation in our atmosphere. And you can, if you look through the list on Veterans Today, it's basically all across the country: Arizona, Florida, Arkansas, Texas, Idaho, California, North Carolina, Washington, South Dakota, Maine, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Florida, Massachusetts, Kentucky, Kansas, and even in the district criminals, the high reading was 401 counts per minute, 80 times normal. So it's it's out there, and it's not going away. The third link under there, radiation exposure. This is about radiation that people receive from tests when they go in to get heart tests, and they're getting basically a 20% higher radiation dose because the facilities in the United States aren't following the radiation dosing guidelines. And keep in mind, this is kind of the good radiation that's only exposure, not the really bad stuff where you've taken the radiation internally. And that leads me into LNT model tested. That is the linear no threshold risk model. It's a technical term, basically saying for ionizing radiation, there's a linear relationship. You draw a line, starting from zero, where you got zero radiation, and as the radiation increases, the line goes up, basically in a linear, unlike the exponential that we tend to see with things like our national debt nowadays. And this guy went into a medical library, pulled out studies, and compared this model versus the other theories of one is you've got a safe amount of radiation up to a point that doesn't really increase cancer. And these are solid cancers that they're talking about here, tumors. And once you reach that threshold, then it goes up in a linear fashion. There's also another theory that says that there's a certain amount of radiation that's actually good for you, and then once you get beyond that point, it increases in a linear fashion. And he pulled out the studies and compared the models, and it turns out that this linear model, where there's not a threshold, as soon as you get radiation, even small amounts, it starts increasing your risk, it is the closest fit. And he separated out studies that were done on children, worked out the same way. Then he overlaid a study that he had found on childhood leukemia. And at very low levels, this had an exponential upward risk. So it's difficult to describe in the charts. There's a video on that link. It's about 9 minutes that it's fairly easy to understand. So whereas this risk of solid tumor cancer goes up in a linear fashion for the dosage, for children, that leukemia risk just skyrockets to where at these low doses you're already at the risk level that you would have been at with the larger end of this study for the solid cancer. I found that a bit disturbing, and again, these dosages, from what I can tell, is the exposure to radiation and not the ingestion of radiation. I don't know if you wanted to comment on that.
John, I've been in touch with a number of people over the last couple of weeks, and I'm hearing more about brain tumors. I'm hearing more about cancers than ever before. And although the sample is small, it seems like how can there be so much cancer, and how can there be so many brain issues? How can there be so many brain tumors? And I don't think it's just people. I think it's our animals too. I think our animals are suffering from cancers as well. When I feel the coat and hug one of my dogs here at the farm, I can feel these tumors under the coat. You can feel these bumps. And so here's the homework for all of our class. If you have some cats, you have dogs, why don't you feel their coats and see if you feel the same kind of bumps that I feel, and let us know. Let us know if it's just me. And do you have, just think about the people whom you know and you've been in contact with over the marketing season. Did you hear of more injuries, more brain type problems? Tomorrow, I believe we're going to get a call with Dr. Norman Shealy about Parkinson's disease. A friend of mine who I've been friends with since the 70s. And I just found out that I haven't seen her in decades, but I heard that she has Parkinson's. Where's that come from? So she may be calling in tomorrow to discuss this with Dr. Shealy. I hope she does. And you'll hear the rest of the story tomorrow. John, there's so much sickness, I can't believe it. I got a call from, I got a message from one of our children that one of my dear friends was in the hospital. He's suffering from a case of amnesia. He's hospitalized for it. Amnesia. And he can't remember, and all of a sudden he just kind of blacks out. These things are happening all around us. And one of the things that you and I do is bring anecdotal evidence to the airwaves. We talk about things that are happening to us, and what happens is those who listen to us go, wow, so it's not just me. There's a bunch of us that are experiencing this, so I'm very concerned. So that's my comment.
Next up, I have a link called Salt or Not. The headline of the article is Nuclear Waste Storage Sites and Rock Salt may be more vulnerable than previously thought. And it turns out, this is research through the University of Texas at Austin, that rock salt used by Germany and the United States for subsurface containment of radioactive waste may not be as impermeable as thought and as capable of releasing the nuclear waste into the environment.
I've got a comment on that when we come back, John. I actually have a bill that should be put before Congress. No, I'm sorry. A bill that should be put before our state legislatures that will stop this nonsense. It's just one sentence. It'll fix the whole problem. We'll be right back. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Did you know that home break-ins increase more than 100% during the holidays? It takes just 10 seconds for an intruder to kick in your door, but police response to a home alarm system is more than 20 minutes, and intruders are in and out of your home in 5 minutes. Thieves know that you're not home and have presents inside just waiting to be taken. And if you are home, how safe will you feel with an intruder lurking inside with your family? That's why police across the country are recommending you use Door Armor. Proven to withstand the force of a battering ram, Door Armor keeps intruders out. It's easy to install and barely visible, and your Door Armor is guaranteed for life. Go to InvasionStopper.com for a very special buy one, get one at half off deal. These savings are for a limited time and only available to GCN listeners. Protect your valuables and loved ones this holiday season. Go to InvasionStopper.com now. That's InvasionStopper.com.
You haven't experienced yogurt until you've tried a Mossy, embodying health and flavor in a true whole milk, green-fed dairy beverage. Every sip pays homage to our old world cows and the ancient culturing methods their milk benefits from. With over 30 probiotics, a Mossy's undeniably nutritious, refined, cultured sensation bolsters your health and awakens your passion for dairy. A Mossy's so good, and you need to try it. Contact your Youngevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Ted Anderson telling you about Jordan Rubin's Beyond Organic Green-Fed Raw Cheddar Artesian Cheese featuring whole milk created through ancient dairy breeding, unpasteurized, untreated whole milk on the same farm the cows graze, containing natural sources of omega-3s, CLA protein, calcium, probiotics, and enzymes. I have never tasted cheese this good, and you need to try it. Contact your Youngevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares Unfiltered and Untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares Untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Are you sneezing, coughing, and aching? Do you have a sore throat, a fever, or the sniffles? There's no reason to be sick this cold and flu season with immune system support from Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver can give your body the help it needs to fight off harmful pathogens without hurting beneficial gut flora and without leaving behind resistant bacteria. Antibiotics can damage good microflora and often leave behind bacteria which can cause problems later on. If you're sick of being sick, try Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver, the #1 choice of thousands for a safe and effective way to protect against the many diseases and illnesses that we are facing today. Go to supernaturalsilver.com, read our customer reviews, and see the life-changing results that people are having. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code PROTECTED for 20% off your entire order. And like us on Facebook. Supernatural Silver.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
John, you're talking about disposing of nuclear or hazardous waste, and, we really don't have a solution. And so if we are putting containers of radioactive waste in an environment that's surrounded by salt. Salt is water soluble, okay? And it rusts most metal containers. It's as simple as that. And so here's my solution. It's a 1-sentence bill that will solve almost all of our problems with Washington, D.C. Here it is. And if this 1-sentence bill were passed into law by all the states, our problems would be all but gone. Here it is. No trash, garbage, or waste of any kind shall cross state, Commonwealth, or District of Columbia lines. Let me say that again. No trash, garbage, or waste of any kind shall cross state, Commonwealth, or District of Columbia lines. That means that if you have garbage in your state, household garbage, steel cans, aluminum cans, radioactive waste, liquid waste, effluent, solid waste from septic systems, whatever it is, it cannot cross state lines. So if every state made that law, Washington, D.C. would be buried in its own trash. They'd have buildings taller than skyscrapers with trash. They could not survive. That 1 sentence would solve most of our problems. This hazardous waste that we've created, we've done this. We have done this. General Electric and companies like that, DuPont, have created hazardous waste for which there is no way of, and we can call it disposing of it, but it's just putting it someplace, which is a ticking time bomb for later contamination and destruction. Let's see, we've got Michael in New York. Welcome. Hello, Mike. New York, welcome.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on your going over the dogs or with the bumps on them. Yeah, it's kind of in the last few years gotten really out of hand from a lot of people I've spoken with. I mean, at a local park we go to here, a lot of people have. I mean, we got a dog. He just turned 4, and he had a tumor that had to be removed, which was cancerous. And he's also got these other lumps, which they say could be cysts or whatever. But either way, it's phenomenal how many people we talked to at the park were so many of them, especially the purebreds. Maybe not so much the mutts, but I noticed in talking to the breeder that we got ours from, I noticed that one of the big differences that, because prior to this one, the dog we had from the same people lived to around 11 or more, and this one, 3 years old and he has a tumor, but I also learned that both of them, unlike the first breeding we had, both of the dogs have also had RFID chips in there too, so, and according to the breeder, the mother of the dog we had a tumor removed from the breast. So it's, between the fact that they get a ton of vaccines, between the chips that are in there now, it just seems like it's gotten way out of hand from people I've spoken with, where dogs that normally are there, 11, 12 years old are getting these things at 2 and 3.
That's exactly my point, Mike. Exactly my point, and I'm so glad you mentioned it. Could you hold on through the break? I've got a couple quick questions for you. Sure. John Regan and I will be right back. Fukushima, and that's the topic today. And I'm Vin Finelli. This is USAPrepares.com. Very serious broadcast, and you can tell by the tone in our voices. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
If you're like me, you're concerned about the stock market and the economy. You're asking the questions, but it just doesn't seem that you're getting the right answers. Well, my friends at the Wealth Preservation Institute not only have the answers, but they've put together a free report, How to Survive the Upcoming Economic Collapse and Protect Your 401ks, IRA savings, and retirement income. Don't hesitate. This report's for free for a limited time by calling 888-772-2929. That's 888-772-2929. Take back your financial lives today.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. And this is Fukushima 107. During the top of the hour news, John Regan and I were on a call with our previous caller, Mike from New York. And he had mentioned that he has been seeing the same kind of things that I mentioned here on USA Prepares Hour number 1. And that is the problems that the dogs are having here at the farm, our dogs. And he mentioned, by the way, he's going to be on with us tomorrow. He's going to call in and share these experiences in detail with Dr. Norman Shealy in our class. That'll be tomorrow during the broadcast. And he said that he's had golden retrievers that have lived a long time, and now it seems that they get sick earlier. A boxer, 1.5 to 2 years old, had some serious problems. And there seems to be a correlation between the RFID chipping, the vaccines, the dog food, the radiation, the chemical spraying, and I believe electromagnetic radiation. I think these things are showing up in animals and plants, trees, and I'm seeing it here on the farm. I'm collecting more dead wood than I've ever collected. Trees are dying and falling over. We're using them as firewood, but why are they dying? And just look around in your neighborhood. Are you seeing the same evidence of trees dying that we're seeing? So I think that we are poisoning the planet. We're sicker than ever, and that's why we're talking about Fukushima, which is releasing poison, deadly poison, into the air, into the water, into the food supply, into the oceans of the entire world. And it's not just Fukushima. It's the atomic testing, the nuclear testing that our country's been involved in, other countries have been involved in. It's absolute insanity. I believe Captain John Regan agrees with me completely on this point. Captain John?
Yes, and let me just back up a minute why we're here. On December 14th, I had an article I reported on that there was a recently declassified U.S. government report, and this is low-level classification for official use only, from March 18th, 2011, 1 week after the initial event. And in this report, it stated that 100% of spent fuel Pool 4, 50% of Pool 3, and 25% of Pool 2, that radiation had all been released to the atmosphere. And just to point out how bad that is, let me go down to the first article from the vault entitled Fuel, March 2011. There was a report that TEPCO had done saying that it had a total of 1,760 metric tons of fresh and used nuclear fuel on site last year. The reactor 3, which was the MOX mixed fuel reactor with plutonium, had about 90 tons of fuel. The pool above reactor 4, now reactor 4 was shut down at the time, had 135 metric tons. And to put that in perspective, the 3 Mile Island event in 79 was about 30 tons, and the Chernobyl reactors had about 180 tons when the accident occurred in 1986. However, oh boy, you think it can't get worse. They had transferred more radioactive spent fuel into the storage pools before the event. So at the time of the earthquake and tsunami, 3,400 tons of fuel in 7 spent fuel pools, plus 877 tons of active fuel in the cores of the reactors, totaling 4,277 tons of nuclear fuel at Fukushima, which puts it at about 24 times the amount of fuel that Chernobyl had. So not only, you look at it and think, well, there was 3 reactors involved, that's 3 times Chernobyl. No, the amount of fuel involved is 24 times Chernobyl. And we discovered that a bunch of that went into the air, and that's why we're here on the air talking about it.
And at the risk of being repetitive, I mentioned many times on this broadcast that I have an article that shows in Parade magazine that shows an 8-legged horse being born downwind from Chernobyl. And I viewed a television report about 10 years after the 3 Mile Island nuclear meltdown in Pennsylvania, where every family in this neighborhood had some kind of cancer. And this man showed a dandelion leaf on his front lawn, and he stretched it out on camera, on television. And this dandelion leaf stretched from his fingertips to his shoulder, about 3 feet long. So if you think that these things are imaginary, I've seen them. I've seen the stories. I've read the stories. And that's why I'm so concerned. Bill in New York, you're on with Captain John Regan and me. Welcome. Bill in New York?
Hi, can you hear me?
We can.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
I wanted to share some information. I have a unique situation. I spent 25 years repairing X-ray machine. And 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with CML, which is a leukemia that's very common among people that are exposed to radiation. And the interesting thing that I wanted to share is when I got it 10 years ago, they had just come out with a medication that has kept me alive for 10 years. I've since removed myself from all fields, electromagnetic, X-ray, any kind of field. But what I find interesting that I want to share with you guys is that about 4 years ago, I started noticing that there's about 7 or 8 drugs that they've come out with for leukemia. And I stopped and I thought, why would they do that? The percentage of people 10 years ago that had leukemia in the country had to be less than 1%. And I thought, why would they spend all this money researching? And then you guys have kind of filled in some of the gaps. And I feel like maybe they know that the radiation levels are wicked high and that, boy, leukemia medication is going to be a lucrative business in the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Very, very interesting point. And that's one of the things that happens here at USA Prepares. We are connecting the dots. And what you said, Bill, is absolutely brilliant. Talking about the number of leukemia drugs that are appearing. I remember when I was in elementary school, there was one person who died of leukemia in 8th grade. And it was an absolute shock to the whole area. Because it was so rare, and how could this young person get it and die from it? I mean, and now there's plenty of leukemia to go around. May I ask a favor of you? Would you mind calling in tomorrow? And Dr. Norman Shealy is going to be on, and I think that this is something that would be very important to share with our broadcast classroom with Dr. Norman Shealy and you, because he's expert in electromagnetic radiation, electric fields, and he experiments with it a lot and has been for years. Would you mind doing that?
No, not at all, because that's actually, I was a biomedical engineer to start with, and since I've gotten my leukemia, I've done tremendous amount of research on electromagnetic fields, their toxicity, and the other side of it, electromagnetic medicine, where they use the frequencies, more harmonious frequencies. And that's the irony of all this stuff, is that there's frequencies out there that are killing us, but there's other frequencies that we could produce our technologies with that could be harmonious to the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, and ourselves. And yes, I would love to share that. It's been a struggle for me for 10 years. They pronounced me dead 4 or 5 times. I am alive, and I'm going to say part of it's due to modern medicine, but the other part is I do a tremendous amount of alternative treatment. I've been to some of the Mexican cancer treatment centers where they're doing bioimmune therapies, and they're decades, if not centuries, ahead of us because they're not limited by the FDA. And I'm a thriving person at this point, but it's been a struggle. And I'm telling your listening audience, they do not want to have leukemia. They are painful, and it's almost like dying from torture. It's a slow, painful death. And I don't want to describe it on the radio, but anyways, I'd be glad to call in tomorrow. Do you have a time you would suggest? Or?
Yeah, why don't you call in at the bottom of the first hour? So you're in Eastern time. Why don't you call in around 10:30 your time?
Okay, certainly will. I'd love to. Anything I can do to share.
And that number is 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. And Bill, would you mind providing your telephone number when we take you off the air to our engineer? And I'd like to call you after this broadcast. You have a wealth of information. I think we should schedule some time for you to be on the air to talk about this in addition to tomorrow.
Absolutely. I certainly will. I appreciate the hard work you guys do, and keep it up, because there's not many people out there stating what's really going on, and it's scary at some level, at many levels.
I'm speechless. I'm absolutely speechless. John Regan, I've heard his voice at times with a tear in his eye, and that's where I am right now. Bill, please give your full name and your telephone number to our engineer during this commercial break. Thank you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow. Captain John Regan and I will be right back after these few short commercial announcements. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and bad tweets can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? Reputation.com can protect your good name. Get a free consultation now at 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from Reputation.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, KD Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KD. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to kdarmor.com. Come and take it.
Have you ever wondered what rich people know that you don't? Because people who are earning 10 times more than you are not 10 times smarter than you. But they do have a secret. They know something you don't. And that something is what I'd like to share. Because I started out like you, buying dozens of money-making programs, 99% turning out to be nothing but mumbo-jumbo. But eventually, I discovered a secret, earning over $284,000 in a single year. And this is why I have a confession to make. Because most people think my success came from luck or hard work, unfortunately, neither is true. Because I didn't start making more until I started doing less. Less physical work and more mental work. This is because I owe all my success to one thing, and I'd like to share it with you in a new free book. All you have to do to get a copy is go to realcashsecrets.com. That's realcashsecrets.com. Obviously, this offer is limited, so please go now to realcashsecrets.com.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Well, class, it's not just John Regan and me. There are a whole bunch of people, it seems, that are experiencing the same kinds of things that we are. And we're here connecting the dots with Fukushima 107. John, please continue.
Let's make the side trip to St. Louis. We had, before we do that, let me just say that original article from the 14th of December, there's a link in there to the government website where you can get the PDF. It's a series of weekly reports. I believe it goes through April of 2011. And the part about the releasing of the spent fuel pools to the atmosphere is like in the first 2 or 3 pages. But when you go through the rest of the report, it talks about where Obama and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton were briefed on this. So they can't deny that they didn't know, because they did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, St. Louis. There was a new study that was published late last month. It's a peer-reviewed study in the Journal of Environmental Radioactivity, showing strong evidence that radon gas and water coming from the Westlake landfill are responsible for the anomalous levels of a lead isotope that is created by radioactive decay, specifically from radon. And these are at very high levels. And a 2013 report from Westlake also had the largest estimated amount of thorium-230, which is a long-lived radiotoxic element, at levels more than any other nuclear weapons storage or disposal site in the U.S., and this is in the middle of a residential area just to the northwest of the St. Louis airport. And shortly after that article was published, there's a piece written by Claire Burnish, "The Looming Environmental Disaster in Missouri That Nobody is Talking About." Of course, we've been talking about it. And this one has been picked up by a number of web sources now. And it goes in and does talk about the study that I just discussed. And if you go down a little past halfway, it starts talking about the fire and the speed of the fire. And as of May 2013, Republic estimated the fire to be only 1,200 feet from the radioactive waste. The Missouri Attorney General, Koster, that same month said it was just 1,000 feet. So there's a bit of discrepancy, but all that means is a small difference in time. The EPA found evidence that waste extended 100 feet into the landfill, which could reduce the distance to as little as 900 feet. In June of 2013, the Missouri Department of Natural Resources commissioned a report where they found the fire had slowed from a rate of 3 feet per day to around 1 or 2 feet per day. Then in March 2014, a spokesperson for Republic said that the rate had slowed to just 6 inches per month. But wait, there's more, and we'll get into that after the break.
Captain John Regan, I'll return after these commercial announcements.
Removing bad taste and odor from your drinking water is easy. Removing the bad stuff you don't taste is what ProPure does best. Water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure countertop, inline, gravity, and household water filtration products. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com or call 800-544-3533.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
As your body ages, there's a 10% decline in your ability to repair each passing decade after the age 28. By age 40, your ability to repair from demanding manual labor, exercise, or a stressful desk job has declined by 12%. By using One World Whey, you supercharge your body's ability to repair and eliminate inflammation. Our unique frequency-encoded whey protein, coupled with our high-quality whey, improves your cell's ability to make protein, which is to say, repair itself.
My name is Jonathan Wright, and I'm 40 years old. I recently went from a desk job to a manual labor job. Normally, I'm worn out. With energy-enhanced One World Whey, I now recover so quickly that I can perform very hard work all day long. I use energy-enhanced One World Whey for breakfast and lunch, and I experience less hunger throughout the day. I have a 30% increase in energy, and I just feel better. I plan to make energy-enhanced One World Whey a permanent part of my lifestyle.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld.com.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
Rainier Distillers designs and builds custom copper stills for home purification of water, distilling alcohol, essential oils, cannabis oil, and ethanol fuel. Use these distillers at home to remove all those nasty chemicals that are added to your public drinking water by fluoridation, resulting in pure, safe drinking water for you and your family. Call RainierDistillers.com at 360-446-8998 and check out their website at RainierDistillers.com, located in Seattle, Washington.
Hello?
Congratulations.
For what?
For losing all that weight. How'd you do it so fast?
ASAP.
ASAP what? What's that mean?
Are you ready to get as skinny as possible, as soon as possible, as simple as possible, and as sexy as possible?
I'm listening.
Then get with the ASAP program. It's real and it works. No smooth talk, no slick advertising, and no exaggerated claims of success.
I've got to know more.
Welcome to ASAP, as slim as possible. Whether you have 10, 20, or 50 pounds to lose, ASAP is your weight loss answer. ASAP targets the abnormal fat reserves and makes them available to be burned as fuel and contains no caffeine or hormones. Order ASAP at wholesale prices or join the team to share the business with others. Visit GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. Lose weight and look great with ASAP, as slim as possible.
Captain John Regan's with us. And John, if a person had $150.93, he or she could buy extension cords at the Chinese factory outlet for $16.77 a piece. You get 9 of them for $150.93. And if you plug them in end to end to end to end, that would stretch out about 900 feet. That's the distance we're talking about. If if you wanted to know how long 900 feet is, that's about the length of a city block in Manhattan. So 6 city blocks, end to end, end, in Manhattan would be about a mile. We're talking about 900 feet. The fire that's raging underground is 900 feet from a nuclear dump site in Missouri, near St. Louis, that was created as a result of the atomic weapons that were unleashed by the United States on Nagasaki and Hiroshima in 1945. We did it. And we created nuclear waste, so we unleashed it on Japan and ourselves right here in Missouri. And this was a big secret. And we are now exposing that this landfill is on fire adjacent to a nuclear waste dump right outside the city of St. Louis. Now, would you trust, if you lived in St. Louis, would you trust your government to tell you the truth? Because they haven't told the truth for over half a century. What do you think, John?
And let me just say how much, well, let's put that into sports terms. 300 feet, 100 yards, that's the length of the football field, not including the end zones. So you're talking about 3 football field lengths without the end zones is the distance from where the fire is to where the nuclear waste is. And
John, let's put it in sports terms like this. Let's say you wanted to walk from your seat in the stadium to your car in the parking lot. That's probably what we're talking about.
That's probably even further than what we have.
This is a catastrophe. And we did it. We did it to ourselves through secrecy and non-disclosure. And why are we not releasing this? Well, it'd be about commerce, right? It'd be about protecting the tax base. It would be about revenue, tax revenue. That's what this is all about. And let's see, where does Budweiser come from? Is that St. Louis? Where does the water come from that is used in making Budweiser beer? Where does it come from? Is anybody concerned? Now, I have a feeling that if we all stopped drinking Budweiser, those of us who do, the impact might be significant enough to cause alarm at the revenue level to do the right thing about this fire, get the right scientists in there to prevent this from being a worse catastrophe. So who would want to drink radioactive beer? I'm not saying it is. I'm saying who would want to. Is there a possibility that the beer could be contaminated? I would think so. That might land me in court, what I just said. Let's bring it up.
I think given what we know now, I think we'd have to consider any food source, including organically grown on your own property, probably has some level of contamination from Fukushima.
Right. I totally agree.
Now, before the break, I was talking about, this paragraph starts out, however, Sperling's report, and that report's a hyperlink to the Missouri Attorney General's website, claimed drastically accelerated figures, saying that the fire had spread north into the neck area of the site, and while the reaction in the south area sped along at 150 to 300 feet per month, or 5 to 10 feet per day. If it were to advance in the north at a similar rate, high temperatures could conceivably reach the radioactive waste area in 3 to 6 months, and that report came out in September. So if that report is correct, and it's hard to see exactly where the fire is underground. That means that any time from now through the end of March, that fire could reach the radiation. And even if it doesn't in that time frame, it's still heading that direction, and it's only a matter of time. And I pulled up another article. I'll get this on the link for next week on uranium tailings. Basically, what we're talking about is the byproduct of uranium mining, and this is the radioactive junk that's left over. Uranium tailings contain over a dozen radioactive nuclides. The most important of these being thorium-230, radium-226, radon-222, otherwise known as radon gas, and isotopes of radon decay, including polonium-210. And I just might want to remind people, polonium is a very toxic material that some nation states have used to assassinate people with. So it's really wonderful stuff we have right there in the middle of neighborhoods. And basically it's a matter of time when the fire hits that radiation, whether it takes 3 months or whether it takes 3 years. If you have the same exclusion zone around that you have around other nuclear disasters, that would mean closing the St. Louis airport, closing I-70. I'm sure there's rail lines through there. There's, I think Boeing owns it now. What used to be the McDonnell Douglas fighter plant when I was at Scott Air Force Base is located right close by there at the St. Louis airport. You've got the Missouri River just before it reaches the Mississippi. That would be in that exclusion area. So it is not an insignificant, piece of real estate. Now, if you look at Fukushima, where it's located, it's on the coast, which, in retrospect seems a little stupid. And it's, I guess you say anywhere in Japan has a pretty high population density, but not like Tokyo, which is really high population. And the exclusion zone around that is not in the middle of things. Here you're talking about St. Louis, the gateway to the west, the middle of the country. And, it's just ugly. One of those things that the government has known about for years. They've managed to generate, tons and tons of reports, but not get anything done to actually alleviate the situation. Vincent?
As we were talking about this, I'm wondering about where the water comes from for a lot of our food supply. All the major brands. How many of them use municipal water supply? The municipal water supply for their food production, and that's a real big concern. So I don't know how to answer that question, John. I was on the phone yesterday. We were talking about food with one of our instructors, and I was mentioning that, there doesn't seem to be much of a choice. We're going to have to grow our own. But what about, what's coming out of the sky this spring? Well, we're going to have to grow it inside, which means, LED lights or skylights or greenhouses or high hoops for plastic-covered high hoops for growing outside in raised bed gardens. That's what we're talking about. And I've talked to some people who, don't want to come out on the other side. Okay, they just, if it's this bad, just give up. I'm not in that camp. I'm not saying that's our instructors. I'm just saying I've talked to people who just don't want to deal with it. Well, I do want to deal with it, and I do want to come out on the other side. And I'll tell you what, though, it's going to be a rough ride. And those of us who do come out on the other side, heaven help those guys who caused the problem if we see them on the other side. They won't be welcome in many places. So, class, it's incumbent upon you to build your village. It's a tough row to hoe. And that's what I'm trying to do here in our little village. I'm trying to build a village with those who have skills. I'm not talking about freeloaders. I'm talking about people who can contribute to our survival of our village. And if you're an expert in setting up a foundation or a trust, we'd love to hear about that too. I mean, that's just one little threat that we want to deal with. So we want to teach people how to set up a foundation, a trust, and build a school. And one school here, one school there, so schools all over the country in your village. And I'm not talking about a public school. I'm talking about people who actually really want to educate our young in our village. And we can do it privately. And it doesn't even have to cost anything. We can volunteer our time. That's what I tried to do in our little village here in Missouri. And I met with the county commissioners, and they laughed at me. We'll do it without them. We don't need them. Captain John Regan and I will be right back. What's coming up next, John?
We'll get back to talking about what's up at Fukushima now.
Okay. I can't wait. Captain John Regan is going to wipe that smile right off your face. I've seen him do it many times in person. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
$58 billion. That's how much unclaimed money is waiting for rightful owners. And the government admits 1 in 10 people are owed this money. But where does the cash come from? Answer: over 13 places. One of them is every time someone dies without a will. And studies show over 50% of Americans don't have a will. Is it any wonder unclaimed money has become the #1 source of revenue for most state governments? Second only to taxes. The largest recipient of unclaimed money received $32.8 million. The cash was proceeds from the sale of nearly 1.3 million shares of stock. But what about you? How do you find out how much unclaimed money you might be owed? That's easy, thanks to a new free report from realcashsecrets.com. It will show you everything. To receive your free report, just visit realcashsecrets.com. But hurry, because this free offer will be discontinued. So go to realcashsecrets.com. That's realcashsecrets.com.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Attention veterans who served in the Army, Navy, Air Force, or Marines. Did you know each year over $1 billion in veteran benefits go unclaimed? That's almost $3 million a day veterans are missing out on. If you are a veteran, then you need to find out what you might be losing because your taxes funded your benefits. Benefits you might be missing out on because laws have changed. One veteran was awarded almost $500,000 in back pay and benefits, and previously being denied 9 years earlier. Why? Because laws changed and he took the time to find out he qualified. If you are a veteran, you need to find out the benefits you might be owed, and thanks to a new free report, you can. Just visit realcashsecrets.com. But please, hurry and do it today because some benefits are not retroactive. Remember, the report is free. Just visit realcashsecrets.com. That's realcashsecrets.com.
No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Captain John Regan's with us, the financialstateoftheunion.com. Fukushima. John, Fukushima update.
Well, the radiation-contaminated water at Fukushima continues to increase, especially in the Reactor 1 building. TEPCO is trying to stop that. We've got reports of baby whales dying along the west coast from unknown cause. At least the governments are doing tissue testing. Whether or not they release that to us, we'll see. We've got an article where, and unfortunately my Japanese isn't good. It's the 10th largest city in Japan. It's 25 miles south of the reactors. And in the vacuum cleaner dust accumulated from this September, 5,600 becquerels per kilogram of cesium-134-137. So in a 2.2 pound amount of vacuum cleaner dust, you get 5,600 counts per minute, or 5,600 counts per second, of cesium. And this article also has a link where in Tokyo, which is further away, they're getting 32 becquerels per kilogram, which is still a pretty good amount. We're also seeing suicides rise among the Fukushima disaster evacuees for a variety of reasons, some for health reasons, some for economic reasons. So the toll for the disaster continues to rise for more than just the radiological reasons. And I've got a couple of links on dosages. Don't think we have really a good amount of time to get into that. And I've got the latest on the USS Regan, which has become very pushed down in the news. And I've got several more links from earlier on and that describes what some of our young men and women went through on the Regan. A whole bunch of health problems are attributed to this, including cancer, tumors, brain defects, birth defects, early death, and a bunch of undiagnosed conditions. there's been several die, and of course they're not getting a whole lot of help from the government, and unfortunately saying they're not getting a whole lot of help from the mainstream media as well. Vincent?
So, John, as I remember it, Fukushima had been, the reactors had started to melt down already. We sent the USS Ronald Reagan right outside of the disaster area as if we were going to do something. And I was thinking as this was happening, have we lost our minds? So we're going to send our young men, women, and worship over there to do what? And I guess it was for, we were going to provide disaster assistance. Is that correct?
Yes, that's part of it. And we also were going to provide some barges with fresh water to use on the reactors and the pools for the spent fuel. And I think they managed to get one in there. And then they started using salt water on all of that. So in addition to the Bigner effect, you've got the corrosion of the salt water. So it's a double whammy for all the equipment over there.
Very quickly, John Regan, in your research, do you see any solution to the continuing contamination, or do you think this is going to continue for a while?
The quote is, the science and technology has not been invented yet.
Wow. Okay, class, this was today's broadcast was 2 hours, 106 and 107 in Fukushima. And it's really expanded to radiation and toxicity. And we'll have more. Captain John Regan, thanks so much for being with us. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.